The day Uncle William died unexpectedly, Robert fainted from grief. When he woke up, he'd forgotten our 7 years together and thought he was Uncle William. The doctor said it was a trauma disorder caused by his inability to accept Uncle William's death. His family told me I needed to stay by his side and help him slowly regain his memory. For half a year, I went from angry arguments and heartbroken despair to compromising for the sake of our child. Until today, my sister-in-law, Sophia Carter, spoke to my husband in their family's traditional language right in front of me. "We're about to have our wedding. Aren't you going to tell her the truth? Highland clan tradition dictates that if my brother dies, you are my wife. Besides, if you had stayed in the Highlands back then, we would have been married long ago. What would she have had to do with anything? Don't forget you've always loved me in your heart. She's just a substitute." The cup in my hand fell and shattered on the floor, the bouncing shards cutting my foot. It turned out his amnesia these past 6 months was fake. All of this was just an excuse for him to uphold the custom of taking the deceased brother's wife / inheriting his lineage and get close to his first love, the widowed sister-in-law. Robert Miller's family never liked me. To please them, I had long ago learned their family's traditional language. Those difficult, obscure characters were now tearing my heart apart. I turned to leave but was stopped by Sophia Carter. "Hey, don't you have any manners? Are you going to leave the mess you made for me to pick up?" I knelt down, my trembling fingers cut repeatedly by the sharp glass. It hurt, but not nearly as much as the pain in my heart. Robert's voice was cold. "Eleanor Vance has been with me for so many years, and we have a child. I can't abandon her." "Then tell her the truth. Make her accept me as the primary wife and her as the secondary. What's more, I'm already carrying your child. Now how much she loves me. She can't leave me. When the time is right, I'll regain my memory and make her accept living with the 3 of us." The glass shards scattered everywhere, like my shattered heart. My trembling hands couldn't pick them all up. Robert suddenly grabbed my hand. "Don't pick it up. Your hand is covered in blood. Let me bandage it for you." I looked up at him. His eyes, brows, and lips were the same as before, the face I had loved to the bone. For him, I had defied my family's opposition and followed him for 7 years without a proper title, and our daughter was 5 years old. Slowly, I removed his hand from mine. "Uncle William, I'm your brother's wife. It's not appropriate for you to hold my hand like this in front of your sister-in-law." Seeing Robert's stunned expression, I forced a smile with my chapped lips. This was the first time I had called him Uncle William in the 6 months he'd been faking amnesia. Robert reached out to grab me, but I walked away without looking back. The ridiculous compromises I had made for love over the past 6 months were coming to an end. After leaving, I made a call. "Uncle Tom, could you help me with my daughter's visa? I want to go home as soon as possible." "Ellie, that's wonderful. The visa should take about a week. I'll have someone get you on a plane in 7 days. Your father will be overjoyed when he hears." "Aren't you getting a visa for your husband too? Even though your father didn't approve of your marriage, he's stubborn but soft-hearted. If you go back and sweet-talk him." I calmly interrupted Uncle Tom. "Uncle Tom, just for me and my daughter." "Thank you." When I picked Lily up from preschool, she saw only me and pouted, disappointed. "Mommy, is Daddy still sick? When will he remember me?" My heart felt like it was cut in half. I knelt down and looked into my daughter's eyes seriously. "I'm sorry, Lily. Mommy was wrong. Daddy isn't sick." My daughter looked at me, half understanding, half confused. I held back the tears welling in my eyes and coaxed her. "Mommy is going to take you somewhere fun. You can ski and fish there. Do you want to go?" "Yes." I took my daughter home, but before we could even go inside, Sophia Carter blocked our way. "The doctor found a way to treat Rob's amnesia," Sophia said, a sneer in her eyes. "That is, for him and I to have a wedding. The doctor said Rob has too much unresolved longing in his heart. He couldn't let go of me all these years, and combined with his brother's death, deep down he wanted to take care of me, which is why he fantasized he was my dead husband." I remained silent, just looking at her. Sophia smiled and added, "So, you'll still have to make some sacrifices. Maybe one day he'll remember you too. Oh, and by the way," she looked at my daughter and smiled, "what's her name? Lily Miller, right? That's a really good name." Watching Sophia Carter walk away, my fingernails dug into my palms. My daughter's name was Lily Miller. When Robert learned I was pregnant with a daughter, he was so happy he couldn't control himself and lifted me up, spinning me around. Green leaves form a forest. "Ellie, let's name our daughter Lily Miller, okay?" Eleanor Vance, was such a joke. Even the daughter I gave birth to, risking my life, had become a monument to his love for Sophia. Lily gently tugged my hand. Mommy, what did Auntie Sophia mean? I didn't know how to explain it to my 5-year-old daughter. I just silently led her back to the room. After Lily fell asleep, Robert came into my room, which was unusual. He looked at me with complex emotions in his eyes, but I wasn't in the mood to decipher them. Is there something you need? My attitude seemed to surprise Robert. He stood there, speechless. It made me laugh inwardly, remembering my own madness when he first faked his amnesia. Back then, I had clung to him, trying to drag him back to our room. I begged him in his ear, Robert, just make love to me once, eh? Andy, you'll remember. We were so perfect together, so in love. How could you become Uncle William? But he avoided me like the plague, hiding in Sophia Carter's room every day before dusk. I had even fantasized that even if they were in the same room, he would never touch Sophia. But reality slapped me hard. I had stood outside Sophia Carter's room and listened to their moans and whispers as they made love. Eleanor Vance, you are truly pathetic. You deserve to be treated like a fool. Pulling myself out of the memory, I looked at Robert coldly. Do you need something? If not, please leave. I want to rest. Robert's face looked awkward. Eleanor Vance, you always said I love you, so I'm going to follow the doctor's suggestion and have a wedding with Sophia again in 7 days. 7 days? That was also the day I was leaving. My question seemed to please Robert. A strange light flickered in his eyes. Eleanor Vance, don't be angry. I'm only getting married to see if I can regain the memories you talked about. Seeing the calculation on Robert's face, I suddenly smiled. He had faked amnesia for 6 months, and I had been hysterical for 6 months. Staying in the dark for another 7 days wouldn't make much difference. I lowered my head, my voice full of sorrow. You promised me a wedding once, and now you're giving it to her. If you weren't sick, if I didn't love you, Robert looked regretful, as if he couldn't control himself, and wanted to pull me into his arms, but I quickly dodged him. He looked surprised. I continued, I won't stay here that day. Rob, I'll take the child to Whitehaven and wait for you. You know where to find me. Whitehaven was the place where we fell in love. Every year, we would stay at the Whitehaven Lodge for a while. My words seemed to reassure him. His tone became distant again. Okay, then rest. It's not appropriate for me to be in your room this late. Your sister-in-law is waiting for me. Can't you stay? You haven't spent time with me and oh, you are a child in a long time. Robert frowned at me as if I were something dirty. After a pause, he turned and walked away. Before leaving the room, he said, Eleanor Vance, don't push your luck. I'm already compromising Sophia by marrying her again for you. Don't be so disgusting as to want to sleep with me too. Don't forget, I'm your Uncle William. The next day, after dropping Lily off at school, I found a large cardboard box and started packing. To try and jog his memory, I had placed family photos of the 3 of us in every corner of the house. Looking back now, it was pathetic and ridiculous. I was trying to wake up someone who was only pretending to be asleep. I gathered all the photos, and everything related to Robert and me, including his clothes left in the bedroom closet, packed them all up, and took them to the incineration facility. Watching everything turn to ashes, Robert was truly dead in my heart. Exhausted, I returned home, planning to rest briefly before picking up my daughter. But as soon as I opened the door, I saw Mrs. Miller and her daughter, Brenda Miller. As soon as Brenda saw me, she sneered in their family's traditional language, Sister-in-law, my second brother is about to marry you. How dare this woman run around instead of waiting on you and trying to please you? She has no manners. How can she be a junior wife? Brenda, Sophia Carter said, sounding wronged, your second brother said she's not from our clan and can't accept the custom of taking the deceased brother's wife / inheriting his lineage, so he told me to keep it from her. She's crazy, don't provoke her. Crazy? I, Brenda Miller, am a wild horse of the Highlands. She wants to compete with me in madness? Look at her, so frail. She doesn't deserve my second brother at all. Sister-in-law, she's just taking advantage of you because you're easygoing. I'll teach her a lesson for you, so she doesn't step out of line later. I pretended not to understand and turned to go back to my room. But Brenda blocked my path with her leg. She stood in front of me, her build strong, half a head taller than me. My sister-in-law is a daughter of the Highlands. What are you? Bullying her? I stared at her coldly for a moment, then said calmly, I wasn't. Please move. I want to go back to my room. Move? Fine. Our clan respects strength. Let's compete. If you win, I'll listen to you. If you lose, you'll kneel on the ground and apologize to my sister-in-law. From now on, if she tells you to go east, you won't dare go west. Before I could respond, she threw me over her shoulder and pinned me to the ground. My head was spinning. Her fists rained down on me like a storm. I was powerless to resist and could only curl up to protect myself. I don't know how long it lasted. She put her foot on my face and joked with her family in their family's traditional language. This kind of woman isn't even fit to lick my second brother's toes. My body ached all over, and I wanted to push her away but had no strength. Suddenly, I heard my daughter's voice from outside the door. "Mommy, Daddy came to pick me up today. I'm so happy. Daddy even said he'd take me skiing and fishing." "No, don't come in," I cried out loudly, not wanting my daughter to see me in such a state. Robert's voice came closer. "Eleanor Vance, aren't you going to look after your own child? If the preschool hadn't called me." "Mommy, who are you? You're mean. Why are you stepping on my mommy? Go away. Don't touch my mommy. Daddy, save mommy. Mommy is hurting. Mommy is going to cry." Robert's face showed heartache and reluctance, but just as he moved towards me, Sophia Carter stopped him with a sentence in their family's traditional language. "If you want her to be obedient, you have to tame her, like taming a wild hawk in the highlands. Break her spirit, and she'll listen to you." My heart felt dead. Tears streamed down my dry eyes. My daughter was still crying out, "Save my mommy. Don't hit her. You. Not my daddy. My daddy wouldn't do this to me and mommy." Enduring the intense pain, I comforted my daughter. "Lily, mommy is okay. It doesn't hurt." Brenda frowned. Crying children are so annoying. She lifted her foot from me and kicked my daughter, who had thrown herself onto me. My daughter hit a chair and fell to the floor, crying and calling for mommy. My heart was shattered. Ignoring my own pain, I used all my strength to crawl to my daughter's side. "Lily, are you okay? Mommy is here. Don't be scared. Tell mommy where it hurts." Holding my daughter in my arms, I cried loudly while frantically grabbing anything I could reach nearby and throwing it at their family. Sophia Carter screamed and hid in Robert's arms. Robert put his arm around her waist and shielded her. "Rob, sister-in-law is hurt. She has a cut on her leg." I looked at the scratch on Sophia Carter's leg, less than 10 centimeters long, then looked at my own bruised body and my daughter crying in my arms, saying she was hurt. I couldn't control myself and sobbed loudly. Robert's face showed reluctance, and his eyes held a look of struggle. Sophia Carter cried in his arms, "My leg hurts so much, and my stomach hurts too." He stared intently at me and my daughter. After a moment, as if he had made up his mind, he picked up Sophia Carter, and the family walked away with their heads held high. My hand trembling, I reached for the phone. "Hello, I want to report an assault. Someone attacked me and my daughter. The address is XXX. Please send an ambulance." I held on until the last second, waiting for the police and ambulance. Seeing the paramedics come in with a stretcher, I closed my eyes. When I woke up again, it was the next day. Robert was sitting by my hospital bed, his eyes filled with concern. "Where is my daughter?" "Eleanor Vance, don't get so worked up. Your daughter is fine. The nurse just took her out for blood tests. Brenda didn't use any force, she just gently pushed her away." I okayed at Robert intently for a long time. The man who used to adore his daughter, the man who once would fight anyone for even a scratch on me, was gone. The man I had loved for 7 years was truly dead. Didn't I call the police? Where are they? Robert's tone was helpless. "Eleanor Vance, it was such a small matter. Why call the police? I already cancelled it for you. I told them it was a family dispute. You're my brother's wife. Brenda has always been like that since she was a child. Why bother arguing with her? Just avoid her next time." I looked at him in disbelief. "Who gave you the right to cancel my police report? Did I agree? Stop making a fuss, Eleanor Vance. I've already agreed to try and regain my memory. What more do you want? Don't worry, even if I don't remember anything, I'll still take good care of you and your daughter in the future. The only condition is that you don't compete with Sophia. After all, she is my wife." I grabbed things from the bedside table and threw them at him. Get out. Get out of here. I don't want to see you again." Robert sighed helplessly. "When I regain my memory, you can't act like this anymore. In our Highlands tradition, men are supreme. You can't say get out like that. Get out." I sat on the hospital bed, crying uncontrollably, until my daughter's soft body hugged me. "Mommy, are you hurting badly? Lily will blow on it, and mommy won't hurt anymore." I couldn't speak, I could only hold my daughter tightly. "Mommy, Daddy is a bad person. They all bullied you. I don't want him anymore. Mrs. Chen said that if mommies and daddies divorce, children have to choose one. Mommy, I choose you. Mommy, I love you. Mommy, don't die." After saying that, she started crying in my arms again. My heart twisted into a knot, and I held her tightly, comforting her. I stayed in the hospital for 4 days, and Robert didn't visit. He came on the last day before I left. He was in a sharp suit, a groom's boutonniere pinned to his chest, standing in front of me and my daughter. Eleanor Vance, for you, I'm going to try and find my memory. You must not want to see me marry someone else, so I bought you plane tickets to Whitehaven. Take your daughter there and wait for me. If everything is as you say, and I truly love you, then I will come and find you. Looking down at the plane tickets and documents in my hand, I felt nothing but intense irony and amusement. Looking at Robert's face now, there was no longer any love in my heart, only disgust. I sneered, "Are you really so confident that I'll wait for you? Eleanor Vance, if the love between us is truly as you described, then I believe you will. Besides, our child needs a father." I laughed heartily. "Fine. Go get married. I'll wait for you." Robert left without looking back. Not long after he left, the luxury sedan Uncle Tom arranged drove into the hospital. Before getting on the plane, I took out the SIM card from my phone and threw it in the trash. Robert Miller, 7 years of deep love, ending in nothing but disgust. I hope we never meet again in this life. While I slept on the plane, holding my daughter, Robert was having his wedding. If I had been there, I would have seen that everything about his and Sophia Carter's lawn wedding was exactly as he had promised me before. Even the bride's bouquet in Sophia Carter's hand was the one he had described to me for my own wedding. All the plans I thought he had for our future now belonged to Sophia Carter. But Robert seemed restless. He kept calling my phone, muttering to himself, "What's going on? The plane to Whitehaven should have landed ages ago. Why is her phone still unreachable?" Robert's eyes and brows were filled with panic. Although he was certain that my love for him was deep and that I wouldn't leave, this inexplicable panic reached its peak when he called the Whitehaven Lodge and found that I hadn't checked in at all. He frantically called the airline next, only to be told that I hadn't boarded the flight. He panicked even more. Even when the wedding officiant told him the bride was waiting, he looked completely out of sorts. When it was time for the ceremony, Sophia Carter came and linked her arm through his. He looked at her blankly. "Sophia, Eleanor Vance is missing." A flicker of joy appeared in Sophia Carter's eyes, but she quickly hid it. "Rob, she loves you so much, and you have a daughter together. She won't run away. Let's finish the wedding, then you can go find her. Beg her a little, and she'll come back to you. You're a great man of the Highlands. You've tamed thousands of hawks. Are you afraid of taming one, Eleanor Vance?" Robert nodded. He thought to himself, yes, she loves me so much. To be with me, she didn't even go back to her own home. She even had my daughter without a proper marriage. As long as I lower my head and beg, she'll definitely come back to me. Sophia, I'll go find Ellie right after the wedding. I'll tell her I've regained my memory. From now on, you'll have to be more accommodating towards her. If I had heard him say that, I would have burst out laughing right there. Even now, Robert was still dreaming of upholding the custom of taking the deceased brother's wife / inheriting his lineage. As soon as the wedding was over and he returned home, Robert couldn't wait to go find me. Sophia Carter held him back. "Rob, tonight is our wedding night. Can you bear to leave me alone?" But Robert pushed her away. My disappearance had plunged him into extreme fear. He suddenly remembered something I had said to him once. "Rob, I hate deceit more than anything in the world. If one day I find out." But he had interrupted me before I could finish, telling me, "Ellie, I love you. I will never deceive you." Robert's heart was now gripped by fear and pain. So he ignored Sophia Carter's desperate pleas and went back to our room to look for clues about where I had gone. But he suddenly discovered that the room was empty. Not a single item remained, not even his clothes in the closet. He began frantically searching the house for the things I had already burned to ashes. Unfortunately, there was nothing left. His hand trembling, he picked up his phone. After thinking for a long time, he called Uncle Tom. If I could have predicted all of this, I would have told Uncle Tom from the beginning that I had cut ties with Robert. Unfortunately, I didn't have the ability to see the future. I knew none of this. After over 10 hours of long-distance travel, I landed in Canada with my daughter the next day. As I walked out of the airport holding my daughter's hand, I saw my father. 5 years ago, I had been determined to pursue love and follow Robert, but my father strongly disagreed. I left in anger, and we hadn't seen each other for a long time. Seeing my father now, he looked a bit thinner, and there was gray in his hair. The man who used to carry me on his back had grown old. A wave of bitterness washed over me. I couldn't help but run to him and hug him, sobbing, "Dad." My father patted my back. It's good you're back. Is this little Lily? Oh my, you're so big. Let Grandpa hold you. My father picked up my daughter, absolutely doting on her. Ellie, she looks exactly like you did when you were little. We went home happily. After a simple meal, I had just put my daughter to sleep when my phone rang. I answered it and had just said Uncle Tom when Robert's exasperated shout came from the other end. Eleanor Vance, how could you just leave with our daughter? What do you take me for? You said you'd wait for me in Whitehaven. How could you take the child and run back to your parents' home? There was a commotion on the other end. I heard Uncle Tom telling Robert to give him the phone back, and Robert refusing. After some struggle, Uncle Tom got the phone. His voice was apologetic. Ellie, I didn't know things were like this between you two. I'm so sorry. If I had known, I wouldn't have helped him call. I felt incredibly ashamed and guilty. I quickly said, Uncle Tom, please don't say that. It's my fault for not handling things properly. You don't need to worry. I'll call Robert myself. Please get some rest. After repeatedly apologizing to Uncle Tom, I called Robert's number. He answered immediately. Ellie, I remember everything now. I'm so sorry, I was wrong. Will you come home? Can we talk properly? I felt nothing but disgust. I didn't want to say another word to him. I spoke directly, Robert Miller, let's not say anything more. We don't even have a marriage certificate, so this is just a simple breakup between boyfriend and girlfriend. Let's break up. Our daughter is mine. You and Sophia Carter live happily together. No, I don't agree. Ellie, wait for me. I'll come find you. I said coldly, don't look for me. The sight of you makes me sick. With that, I hung up. The next day, I acted as if nothing had happened and drove my daughter out for fun. It was already dark when I got home. As my car pulled up to the house, I saw Robert. He stood there like a metaphorical, stood rooted to the spot, his pale face showing fatigue. He looked nothing like the confident, arrogant man he used to be. I cursed him under my breath, then had the nanny carry my sleeping daughter inside. I walked up to him with a stern face. What are you doing here? As soon as he saw me, his eyes turned red. Ellie, I've regained my memory. I remember everything. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I missed you so much. I know you must be angry with me. That's why you didn't wait for me at the Whitehaven Lodge. But it's good you came home. I can finally visit your father. Didn't you always want me to come to your place? Hearing his words, I felt no warmth, only an endless coldness, like a mountain sealed by ice and snow. I had begged him repeatedly to come back with me to see my father to get his forgiveness, applying for visas hundreds of times, but he never came. Every time we were about to leave, something would come up. He would always hold me and say, Ellie, I'm sorry. We'll definitely go next time. Later, I understood. He didn't want to come because he knew my father didn't like him, and he didn't want to face my father's cold reception. Although I held a grudge, I stopped mentioning going home. Now, when I had decided to completely cut ties with him, what was he doing here? Seeing that I was unmoved, Robert looked even more miserable. He pleaded, I remembered everything halfway through the wedding. Ellie, you were right. You're the one I love. I was confused. I did something despicable. Please forgive me and come home with me? Looking at Robert Miller's superb acting in front of me, I couldn't help but laugh. After a moment, I looked into his eyes and said something. Robert Miller, I know everything. I said this in their family's traditional language. Robert's face turned ashen. He looked at me in disbelief. I continued speaking to him in their family's traditional language. 3 years ago, your family refused to let me go back to the Highlands with you. To get them to accept me and our daughter, I've been learning your language. A faint smile played on my lips, as if I were telling someone else's story. But unfortunately, the first time I got to use it was when I overheard you and Sophia Carter discussing how to use fake amnesia to trick me into accepting the custom of taking the deceased brother's wife/inheriting his lineage. Robert's lips trembled, and he couldn't speak for a long time. No, Ellie, listen to me. Sophia and I, in our Highlands, there's this tradition. My brother is gone, and I have the responsibility and obligation to take care of her. I was just afraid you couldn't accept it, so I came up with this plan. I sneered. So you took care of Sophia Carter by taking her to bed, and even got her pregnant. You're shameless, Robert Miller. Don't ever look for me again. Get lost. I was blind on. See. From today on, we have nothing to do with each other. Robert stepped forward, wanting to take my hand, but I slapped his face. He stared at me, stunned. Ellie, I actually love you in my heart. It was because I couldn't bear the risk of losing you that I deceived you. Ellie, we were so in love, have you forgotten? Didn't you tell me before that love makes anything possible? Can't you accept Sophia for the sake of loving me? I've given her a child and a wedding now. If you really can't accept this tradition of the Highlands, I'll send her back to live with my mother, and you'll never see her again. Would that be okay? Hearing his absurd reasoning, I suddenly felt that my past self, who had jumped through hoops for love, was both pathetic and ridiculous. Robert Miller, please stop saying the word love. You don't deserve it. Also, your so-called love now makes me sick just thinking about it. Please never appear in front of me again from today on. After saying that, I ignored his shouts and turned to go back inside. But Robert shouted after me, Ellie, I've thought it all through. If you really can't accept it, then I'll make her leave. Will you just give me a little more time? You're the one I love. Even if you don't forgive me, our daughter still needs a father. I scoffed without looking back. Get lost, Robert Miller. Get out of my life. From now on, the world is wide, and we are strangers forever. I didn't care when Robert left. In the following days, I was very busy. Busy finding a school for my daughter, finding a tutor. Busy taking my daughter around to get used to the environment and make new friends. After my father learned about what happened between Robert and me from Uncle Tom, he somehow found out about Brenda Miller using the opportunity to assault me. He put in money and effort, found some other people Brenda Miller had also violently treated, and together they filed a police report. I heard that when the police arrived, Brenda Miller was being beaten relentlessly by Robert, who had pinned her down. Seeing the police, Brenda Miller looked like she had found a savior. With swollen lips, she yelled, "Officers, you're here just in time. Quick, arrest him. Robert Miller has gone mad. He's hitting me for a weakling/pushover. Arrest him quickly." But Robert was fearless, his punches showing no mercy even in front of the police. Wasn't this how you challenged Ellie? You dared to hit her like that, why can't I hit you like this? You just bullied her because she didn't have anyone protecting her then, didn't you? But she's my wife, you know that? It was you who forced her away. By the Highland Challenge tradition, even if I beat you to death, I wouldn't be held responsible. No one could pull Robert off. Even the police had to call for backup, and it took several officers to finally pull him away. Brenda Miller trembled and said, "Arrest him. Take him to prison. He's crazy." But the police put handcuffs on Brenda Miller instead, the reason being assault causing grievous bodily harm. Brenda Miller shouted loudly, "I'm the victim. Why are you arresting me? You should arrest Robert Miller. You've got the wrong person." But no one paid attention to her. Hearing all this, I felt no ripple in my heart. I was busy arranging my palette knife. Since coming home, I had picked up my old hobby again, happily spending my days with paints. My father secretly observed me for a long time, then his face showed a look of relief. From that day on, he started arranging blind dates for me. After going on many dinners/gatherings without understanding why, I had an open conversation with my father. Being a stay-at-home wife is nothing compared to the joy of being a stay-at-home daughter. This was something I had only recently begun to understand. My father sighed for a long time, then patted my shoulder. "Ellie, your mother left us early. I raised you myself, acting as both father and mother. I can afford to support you and Lily for the rest of your lives. If you don't want to get married, then don't. But Dad just wants you to be happy." From that day on, I lived a free and unrestrained life. After settling down, I used my father's connections to change my daughter's name. Lily Vance. My Eleanor Vance's treasure for life. As for Lily Miller, go to hell. One late night, about half a month later, I suddenly received a call from Robert Miller. He was crying uncontrollably on the phone. "Ellie, I was wrong. Terribly wrong. Sophia Carter was lying to me. My brother's death was because of her. The child she's carrying isn't mine at all. Sophia Carter and her lover killed my brother and framed me for the child she was carrying. Ellie, she tricked me so badly. I lost both you and our daughter. Ellie, wife, I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. I miss you so much. I miss you and our daughter." My heart was completely unmoved. Without saying another word, I hung up and blocked his number. I didn't know how many calls of his I had already blocked. Late apologies are cheaper than dirt. Robert Miller was truly a repulsive person. Later, I heard from a friend back home that Robert Miller came home one day and saw Sophia Carter in bed together with a man, and only then learned the whole truth. He was furious. The next day, he dragged Sophia Carter to the hospital for a DNA test. The child Sophia Carter was carrying was indeed neither his nor his brother's, just as he suspected. Robert Miller immediately slapped her twice and demanded to know why she did it. But Sophia Carter just laughed at him in public. "What are you pretending for, Robert Miller? You slept with me so many times, was I forcing you? You're the most disgusting one. You said you loved me back then and tricked me into being with you when I was 18, but when you found out your brother wanted to marry me, you left me in the Highlands and walked away without looking back. After your brother died, you couldn't wait to sleep. Why? Me after his funeral/wake. The custom of taking the deceased brother's wife/inheriting his lineage in the Highlands? No one could have forced you if you didn't want to. Robert trembled with rage but couldn't say a word. Sophia Carter looked at him mockingly. You say you blame me? What right do you have to blame me? You faked the amnesia yourself. You wanted to sleep with me and keep Eleanor Vance too. I didn't even find you disgusting, and you dare to despise me? Robert couldn't hold back anymore. He swore and kicked Sophia Carter mercilessly in the stomach right there in the hospital. Eleanor Vance, you wouldn't believe it, but Sophia Carter's belly was already quite large then. After that kick, blood immediately flowed everywhere. I heard that when they took her in for emergency treatment, the baby's head was already out. There was no saving it, it became a stillbirth. I listened silently, occasionally making a quiet sound of acknowledgement, without offering any other opinion. After my friend finished telling me everything in vivid detail, she reiterated, Eleanor Vance, you're so lucky you left him. Robert Miller is a truly terrifying man, simply an abyss. I smiled, chatted with her for a bit, and then hung up. Life was full and slow. I heard later that Robert Miller was sued by Sophia Carter for assault and served a few years in prison. But that had nothing to do with me anymore. After that day, I never received another call from Robert Miller. I became a contented stay-at-home daughter, spending my father's money to take good care of myself and Lily Vance. Just when I thought I would never cross paths with Robert Miller again in this life, he appeared before me once more. It was a late afternoon, the sun setting. After dinner with my daughter, we were walking home slowly. He stood just a step away from us. His body was thin, his face pale as paper, his clothes wrinkled. His eyes stared at me and my daughter with a desperate hunger. There seemed to be countless emotions in his eyes, but he didn't dare take a step closer. As I walked past him, holding my daughter's hand, pretending not to notice, he clutched his pants leg tightly, seemingly trying to find the courage to say hello. Mommy, Mrs. Chen said I did really well today. Are you going to give me a reward? Of course, Lily. What reward do you want? Tell Mommy, anything is okay, whatever you want. Yay. Mommy is my favorite person. Mwah. I didn't even glance at Robert Miller. Even when I heard him call my name in a hoarse voice, I ignored him. After hesitating for a long time, he seemed to finally gather the courage and tried to approach us. But then he heard my daughter's little voice say, Mommy, is that a homeless man? He looks so sad. Robert Miller's forward step stopped right there. He never took another step. Many years later, after my daughter had grown up, I finally couldn't help but ask her if she hadn't recognized Robert Miller at all back then. She replied casually, actually, I knew who he was back then. But I knew he had hurt Mommy so much, so I did it on purpose. Don't be sad, Mommy. I have you, and that's enough. Tears streamed down my face, moved. Let it be on purpose. I didn't care. As long as my daughter was happy. Even later, when I heard that Robert Miller eventually died of liver cancer due to excessive drinking, with no money for treatment, I felt no sympathy. I only took my daughter to put a flower on his grave when he died in agony and had a funeral/wake.